Hello, welcome to Createful Art. It's Ashley here, and today we are getting inspired by the Renaissance period. I want to show you some clips from painting a woman's portrait inspired by Da Vinci. And in those clips, you're going to learn a lot. And then if you decide you want to get the full tutorial, then I will have that available at the end of the video, or you can get the link in the description. Okay, let's get into these tips on how to paint portraits. Follow along with that line of her outer cheek and her chin with the light yellow color, and you can lighten it or darken it based on the skin tone that you want, but we're going to be putting a lot of layers on this, just like Da Vinci did. He had soft layers and he built it up to get soft transitions from light to shadow. Let's just make sure that we have the eyes. And now here's a really important part. We want to get this first layer of the shine on the forehead. So we're going to be layering more of this color. So this is just the base. It looks really light right now. It's going to be darker when it dries. So get that cheek in there, but leave a space between the nose and that cheek. And then right here on the right side, so you want to follow this line like that. Okay, so anytime you're painting a portrait, you want to make sure that the proportions are correct and it's lined up to the angle that her face is at. So I got that cheek with the first layer, and then I have this chin down here, that's the first layer. So basically I'm looking at Leonardo da Vinci's observations he made of where the light hits on this face. So right under the nose, part of that nostril. So basically, we now need to add in the dark areas. So I have a little bit of that dark black on my brush. You can also use dark brown. There's dark brown mixed with black. And you can decide based on the contrast you want. But that eyebrow area, the eyelash area, right underneath the chin, we'll work on the underneath the lip, where the mouth is a little bit darker, underneath the nose. So all these areas on here, we're observing his painting, focusing on the most shadowed areas now. So right here up next to that nose where there's no paint, we want to add some of the shadow. Right now it's not really blended very well into the light area. So what you can do is you can take off some of your paint off of your brush like I just did right there and use that scumbling technique, which allows you to kind of scrub it in to the color next to it. So this medium tone right now, I'm putting on her face. So notice where it's at. It's the cheek coming down to the bottom of her lip, a little bit along the outer edge of her chin. So this chin, I'm still kind of forming a little bit, making sure that it's not too long, too big, and I have to have a little more contrast for that. So right here next to her eye, I'm adding a little bit of the shadow or that medium tone. And then I make sure I don't have too much on my brush if I'm trying to blend. I put more on my brush like I'm doing right now when I'm trying to have more coverage and make it brighter. So right here underneath the eye, I want to place that shadow. So now I have the gold on my paintbrush, and I'm going to put this as a transition color between that medium tone, which was the brown that I used, and the lightest yellow tone. This color is more transparent than the light skin tone that I was using. So you'll be able to see the colors underneath it, which makes it a great transition color between the lighter tones and the darker tones. Now I want to add another layer of that yellow to soften and blend into her cheekbone. There, and you have to keep layering to get a more realistic look. Now the more contrast between colors between her cheekbone and her upper lip, the stronger her cheekbone's going to look, the less fat she's going to look like she is. She's not fat, but you know what I mean, like fleshy. So I'm going to soften it just a little bit. Now on her lip, there's some highlights. So I can make her lip have just, a highlight at the bottom, so it's not like dipped in. It's not a rosebud lip is what they're called. Or if I put two highlights next to each other, it will show that rosebud lip. So
and play around with that. I'm going to.
Thank you for watching. I hope these tips help you. Be sure to grab the workshop if you want to paint along in the full hour session, and then you will learn a lot more as well. And then also be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so that you're notified whenever I make a new video. I will share another tip with you next week. Bye!